In this video, I'm going to be breaking down every trade that happened last week using the new liquidity supply and demand strategy and explaining how you could have made 12% last week just following the simple rule set that has been set out for literally anybody to be able to easily trade with a full trading plan for consistent long-term profits. But if you aren't familiar with liquidity supply and demand or how to trade it, then I'd definitely recommend this video on screen, which mainly goes over how I trade personally on the 30-minute charts. However, if you're also interested in trading the 5-minute, then there's another video about scalping, and they go over a full trading plan on how to trade the entire strategy. However, in this video, I'm only going to be going over the 30-minute trades that happened, so let's just get into it. So the week consisted of 3 wins and 1 loss, and first of all, I'll go over GJ because it's already on screen, and it's also my favorite pair. But this right here was a 6% trade if you got a good entry and took it with the same TPs. So first, I'll quickly show why this is valid. So of course, down here we have the actual setup. We had our original push up, creating this demand zone right here. Then we came down without actually touching the zone, broke the high. So this trade would have already been valid if we just came down right here. However, it gave us even more confirmation when it came down, not even taking this level of liquidity, coming up again, breaking this high, and then coming straight down to our zone. Now this is an absolutely textbook trade, especially for GJ. We had very clear liquidity. As you can see, we had 2 lows here, both of which were valid and hadn't even been taken out before we came to the zone, which shows intention that we were trying to take this liquidity and tap into the zone, especially since we never even closed below the liquidity, which for me is a nice confidence booster, even though it doesn't really matter. But on top of that, we had a very clear direction. Now from here, it may look like we're very bearish, but if you come into the 4 hour, you can see that we are definitely bullish. We have been creating higher highs and lower lows for ages now, and we came down to this area around here, which is just a perfect place to continue bullish from. We never even broke a low, and this is just a very good place to buy from. So I was very confident in trend with this trade. And on top of that, after we made this new high, breaking this one right here, we came straight back down into the zone in a straight line with like no retracement. This is great for us because we know that markets need to retrace. As we know, they'll never move in a straight line, so we know that we will retrace soon and we will likely go back up. And this is just a perfect point to do that because we're at the bottom of this move. This is a great price for investors to start getting in at. But as well as that, it also shows intention that the market wants to come back down to the zone and react from it. We can see price literally came straight into our zone, gave an insane rejection and even closed bullish. And especially since we had already tapped the zone, gave a rejection, came all the way back in. This was very valid for a flip entry because we came very far into the zone, rejected very hard. So this is a great example of a safe time to take a flip entry because usually it's considered quite risky, but when it comes this far into the zone, it gives this insane reaction, especially on such a nice setup. There's nothing to really complain about. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a setup like this lose on GJ. This is just too clean. Stop loss was right under the wick. It was a 23 pip stop loss, so not really any need to give it too much room. TP1 was at the first high, which was around a 1 to 4. And if you don't know in the Discord, what me and RD do is we close 50% of the trade at TP1. So that's 2% locked in, and then held it up to where TP2 would be at the supply. However, there was red folder news, and there's no reason to risk that when we're this close to TP. It would have hit anyway, but you know what, it's fine. So this was actually a really nice trade. As you can see, this was sent to the Discord with what entry model, when to enter, and honestly this has been so helpful to me since I've been in this Discord ages, and it's so nice being at the point where I don't even need this assistance because I've just learned everything from it. And of course, once again, this next setup was also sent. This next trade was on CJ. This was a bit of a weird setup. This was just a nice basically 1 to 3. 1 to 3.5 even. This was amazing because we had a very clear target for TP, which you can't really see when I'm out here, but it's around here. This is a very nice liquidity zone that we expected to somewhat react from. But yeah, overall, this is just a very clean trade. Just slowly went to TP as we expected. Once again, with flip entry. This doesn't happen too often, but we've got 2 great examples here. This one's pretty obvious. It's just because we came very deep into the zone, rejected very hard, and then flipped. And once again, usually flip entry is considered fairly risky. However, this barely adds any more risk when you can see how much we've already rejected. So this is a perfect example of how to take flip entries sustainably and safely. Other than that, maybe if it was a candle up here, came all the way down, tapped, and then flipped, that would be valid for a flip entry. But if we came down to here, this is the open of the candle, we tapped, came back up, that's just a very risky flip entry because anything could happen. But yeah, this is just a normal setup, nothing particularly amazing about it. Wasn't as clean as that last GJ setup, that was absolutely beautiful. But we had a very nice TP. 1 to 3.5. We had liquidity here. Once again, we actually kind of created it twice. However, we took the first level of liquidity right here and then just made a new level instead. Even closed above the liquidity once again. Doesn't really matter, but it's nice to see in my opinion. And yeah, we just hit this 1 to 3. There wasn't really anything to complain about with this trade. Not much to talk about, but yeah. So funnily enough, the next trade was actually the supply that we had as our TP from the last trade. Did take a chance on this. However, what actually happened with this trade is we came up, and we close inside the zone. Now what do you do in this situation? It's completely up to the trader. However, this candle closed at 6, and as you can see, at 6, we were closing the position in full, as it shows that we weren't really respecting the zone. However, in this situation, it was also highly due to market conditions at the time. This trade did end up losing straight after, so we managed to minimize the loss to remove about, 40% of the loss. And this is very rare this happens. Usually it's just stop loss or take profit. However, this happened so quick, everyone is at the charts. We could see it close inside. This was just easy to minimize the loss. But this was a late Friday, so even if this didn't lose straight away, we would have needed to see it drop quite a lot for us to continue staying in this position, as the next weekly candle would be coming up, and what that likes to do is create a top wick or bottom wick before moving in the direction that it actually wants to. So it'd be very risky if it was still close to stop loss. However, this didn't even happen, so who cares? But yeah, this is up to the trader what they do. It's completely fair if you want to just hold till stop loss, or if you want to close half when it closes in the zone, that's also a completely fair thing to do. But in the circumstance of this trade, we were definitely closing full, which is great because we managed to minimize the loss. And yeah, on to the next trade. So this is actually the first trade of the week. I don't know why I've shown it last, but you know what? Who cares? And this one, market structure is quite confusing, so I'll go through it. But entry on this was actually at break of candle. At least half of the position was. Once again, moving to the Discord. Sorry, I keep doing this. But we entered half on the break of candle entry, and then entered the rest when the candle actually closed red. And as you can see, this is our first trade on this pair, so that's why you've never seen me talk about it before. There's fully backtested results in the Discord, so you can see how well it actually works. However, this was the first trade in the live market using it, and yeah, there was nothing really to complain about. This was only a 1 to 3. Once again, man, you can't sleep on the 1 to 3s. They add up. They do go crazy. But yeah, as you can see, we look quite bullish. So taking a supply right here may look a bit strange, and a lot of people in the Discord were kind of confused about it. But as RD explained in the webinar, the reason we took this was because we dropped down, breaking this major low and this major low, which is very nice for us to see, of course. It even looks almost intentional. And then we came up all the way to these highs without really retracing at all. And once again, this is a sign that we will likely retrace soon because the market doesn't move in a straight line. We will soon come down, and this is our chance to take a piece. And when you've got momentum like this, you can't really expect people to continue buying until we break the high. It's going to have to retrace a bit and build up some momentum before we continue up and break the high like we did here, which is the reason that we took a 1 to 3 on this. Trend isn't the most clear, and we wouldn't expect it to come like really that far down. But yeah, to be honest, that's actually all the trades that happened this week. And you know, I say 100% honest, I didn't actually manage to catch this one personally, because as you can see, it gave entry at 5 AM for me. I was not up. Ain't no Discord signal notification gonna wake me up to take this. I was fast asleep. But this is a very nice trade that everybody else in the Discord managed to take. Well, I assume everybody that wasn't in my time zone managed to take it. But yeah, man, it was a good week. You just got to stay patient. We actually took quite a lot of trades last week. Well, I say quite a lot. 4 is quite a few when you really think about it. But we stayed disciplined. Didn't take any stinker setups. We really just waited for the most quality opportunities. There's no need to put our portfolio at any unnecessary risk. You just got to stay disciplined. Only take the trades that you know are good. And there's no reason that you won't succeed. Especially if you're trading this strategy and you know how crazy this shit's been going recently. Honestly, it is the most insane thing I've ever witnessed in my life. The fact that you can make real money just from how easy the strategy is crazy to me. Obviously, there's a lot to master on it, but I learned it pretty quick because I kind of bombarded RD with questions, so shout out to him. And yeah, that's about it for the video. Stay disciplined, have a great day, and I wish you all luck in the markets. Peace.